What's going on, all my fantasy football fans out there? It is week 7. Welcome to the channel. It's Waiver Queen. In today's video, I am going to give you some players I recommend you starting and some players I recommend you have all the way at the end of your bench because they have some unfavorable matchups week 7. I have a video out right now that should help you get through. So my waiver wire ads for week 7. These players have the potential to help you week 7 because we have some top dogs who are out this week, and these players on the waiver wire have some favorable matchups. So check out that video released on Sunday. Hit the like button so you can see more videos like this, and make sure you subscribe to support the channel. And we're gonna get right into it right now. Let's talk about some of these players that are on a bye week. We have some top teams, I'm telling you. Some very important teams are on a bye week. So we got the Cowboys, we got the Bills, Jaguars, Chargers, Vikings, Steelers. Yes, some of the most important teams are not available to us. So that means players like Josh Allen is out. You got Dak Prescott, Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins. You got the young rookie Trevor Lawrence. He's not playing. And you got Big Ben. Then you have some really good wide receivers. Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. You got Amari Cooper. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got Cole Beasley. You got Stephon Diggs. You got Deontay Johnson. You also have Emmanuel Sanders. We have a lot of players that are not available to us. And then you got some good solid running backs as well. James Robinson, Najee Harris, Ezekiel Elliott, Moss, Singletary. I mean, goodness gracious. And obviously the PPR king right now, Austin Eckler. And then top 5, Dalvin Cook. They're not available. So let's talk about the Thursday night football game, Broncos versus the Browns. This should be an interesting game. Both teams have good defenses, so I expect this to be one of those Thursday night games that we are all sitting there like, oh God, why did they schedule this for Thursday? Y'all know how them Thursday night games be. Some of those games are boring, and when you got two teams that are really good at defense and kind of iffy and kind of on offense, it's going to be one of those games. I do not expect this to be a high-scoring game. And you got to think that for us, the Browns, they are without their main focal points on offense. Nick Chubb is out. Kareem Hunt is on IR. So what are the Browns? A run-first team. They don't have their two guys. And then their starting quarterback, Baker Mayfield, he is dealing with some injuries too. So it's going to be one of those games. I don't know if I'm going to be tuning in. No, I'm going to tune in, but I'm going to be peeking because, I could just imagine I was going to be. But nonetheless, there's still going to be somebody who's going to potentially play well. So Courtland Sutton is someone I see playing well this game. I mentioned that Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is out. They're not playing this game. So Demetric Felton is a player you are going to pick up, right? If you are a Nick Chubb owner and a Kareem Hunt owner, you are looking to pick up Demetric Felton and Dearness Johnson via the waiver wire, because if you got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, you got some really good running backs, and that is hard to replace. So you're going to get their backups, and hopefully they'll play well. But you got to realize Denver is only giving up 3.7 yards per carry to opposing team running backs, which isn't a lot. So this doesn't look good for them. I think Felton has more of an opportunity because they can line him all up all over the football field, whether it's running back or wide receiver. So I feel like he has the potential to have a better game. Nonetheless, I have these two guys considered wild cards, boom or bust, because of how good Denver's defense is. And as you can see, Baker Mayfield, he may have a 67% completion rating, but he has only attempted 173 passes. So that's low. That's ranked 25th, 26th in the NFL. That's almost last. So it's not a good look. And remember, the Browns are run first. So Courtland Sutton is someone that I trust in this game. Teddy Bridgewater, I do not trust him in this game. Again, the Browns defense, if nothing else, that has been one of the bright spots for them. That defense is carrying them, and that running game is carrying them. So now the Browns defense is going to have to step it up another notch because their offense is pretty much going to be out. So again, the wild cards, Felton and Johnson, boom or bust. And then it's one of those, I feel it's going to be a running back by committee. So that's another option that's not appealing. But if I had to choose which running back has the most potential and which running back I would prefer, it would be Felton. So Baker Mayfield, he's always on my bench. He's not a fantasy football quarterback. He is a game manager and good for his team and what they do. But fantasy purposes, he's always going to be on my bench. I don't care if he drops 41 game, he'll be on my bench every game. OBJ is dealing with some injury issues. He's banged up. I'm not checking for him. Austin Hooper has had a disappointing season thus far. A lot of that has to do with the quarterback. So when you think of OBJ, Hooper, Njoku, Landry, their production is tied to Baker Mayfield. And again, Baker Mayfield is really not a fantasy quarterback. So you can't expect their production to be great when the quarterback's production is really not that great. And he's more of a game manager and they are a run first team. So I'm not checking for anybody in this game. This is going to be one of those games where it's going to be hit or miss. And it's going to be the player that you least expect to play well. And now I have Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams on my bench. I feel like Williams has more potential to have a better game than Melvin Gordon. And again, the Browns defense, they're giving up 3.6 yards per carry, which isn't good for Gordon or Javonte Williams. So this, like I said, this is going to be one of those games so where it's going to be hit or miss, and it's going to be that player that everybody's like, oh, we had him on the bench. So like I said, this is going to be a defensive game. Noah Fant, I like his production. I feel like they're not getting him involved as much as they should. And a lot of times he's touchdown dependent in my book. So this game, I'm really not high on him. Patrick can be a nice flex play. And that's it. This is one of those games, again, where it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a low-scoring defensive game. Njoku is hit or miss. He's had one good game this season. He's not going to be consistent. It's going to be very inconsistent. Jarvis Landry is just coming back from injury. So, again, this is going to be one of those games where it's going to be more defense than offense. And we got Jerry Jeudy, who is out. They activated him from the IR slot, and they have up to a certain amount of days. They got about 20 days to make him active on the active roster, which I'm looking forward to that. And I know anyone who has Jerry Jeudy is looking forward to that because the talent is there. He is, in my opinion, the best wide receiver on Denver. But remember, they got a lot of good ones, though. Yeah, I know what it is. Let's talk about the Panthers at the Giants. My Giants, that's right. So let's jump right down here to all of the key injuries. Saquon with the ankle, don't think he's going to play. Galladay, knee, that's a toss-up, but I don't think he's going to play. Darius Slayton is still dealing with the hamstring injury. I'm surprised he hasn't returned yet, but the hamstring injury is tricky. So they would probably be wise to be cautious with him. CMC is obviously not playing. He's on IR now. This reminds me of last season when he got hurt. They was bringing him back, got hurt, didn't play anymore this season. Hopefully for anyone who has CMC, they either have his backup or he come back and play this year. And Kadarius Toney, the talent is there. Unfortunately, he suffered an ankle injury in the first quarter, and this injury is serious. So crossing my fingers, all the Giants fans are crossing their fingers and hoping that it's not severe, that he's going to have to miss several games. So that's what that is. And then I want to talk about players I recommend you starting. Sam Darnold has been a little off lately. He's playing some good defenses right now over the last few weeks. Um, Chuba, start him with confidence. Played really well last week. Start him with confidence. And when I say that, I mean it because the Giants' defense as a whole is ranked almost dead last. They have given up over 4.7 yards per carry. That's probably increased within the last week. More than 700 yards within the last 6 games, the first 6 games of the season. Almost 5 yards per carry is just really, really bad. And this young man is going to eat. He's going to have a really good game. They need to make sure that they get him the ball because he's going to go off. It's going to be probably the best game of his career. DJ Moore, you start him with confidence. He should have a good game because the Giants secondary hasn't played well at all. They're dead last. Okay. They're giving up so much yardage every game to opposing teams, quarterbacks, and wide receivers. It's really bad. So this should be the get right game for Darnold. Okay. There's no excuses. He should be able to have a good game this week. Now, Sterling Shepard, I'm saying start him because Sterling Shepard is going to get some receptions. He's going to get receptions and he's going to get yardage. He is Daniel Jones' most reliable wide receiver, and he trusts him. Then they have that rapport. Even playing against the Rams, as bad as it was, Shepard was at least able to get over 70 yards. I think like 10 receptions. He had about 14 targets. So that is still really good. And remember, if the Giants are getting blown out, they're going to be running the ball. I still think they're going to be throwing the ball. I still feel like they'll throw the ball a bit more because not high on Booker. So I expect, and you can expect, some garbage time points, which we don't care when we get the points. We just want the points. So if it's garbage time, I don't care. You'll get the points from Sterling Shepard this week. And Daniel Jones should have a nice bounce back week, even though the Panthers are only allowing 58, a little over 58, 59% completion percentage to opposing team quarterbacks. I still feel like Daniel Jones should be able to get the fantasy points this week. He should be able to get you 17 to 20 fantasy points. Okay, last week, no, that was really bad. That wasn't a good start. And coming back from a concussion that no one expected him to even play that game, and it was against the Rams defense, he was a player you had on your bench all the way at the end of the bench, guys. I'm telling you. Devontae Booker, I'm just not high on him. He'll have these the offensive line will open up some lanes for him, and he's so slow that you'll see some lanes open up and immediately he's tackled. He has potential to get 5-6 yards, but because he's so slow, it's more like 1 to 2 yards. So I don't trust him at all. He's a wild card and more on the lines of bust instead of boom. It's more of a bust type deal. And not checking for him. And also, if the Giants get down by a lot, they're definitely going to abandon the run and get Shepard involved. Robbie Anderson has been all over the place, so he's on my bench. I don't care if he's playing the Giants, who have a terrible secondary. Don't do it, guys. And Tommy Treble, they traded Dan Arnold, but they haven't been utilizing him yet. So he's on the bench. He's actually on waivers until you see that the Panthers are starting to utilize him more. So don't do it, guys. All right, let's talk about Jets at the Patriots. Okay, so this should be a good game for the Patriots. They should be able to win this game. Players I trust, who I recommend starting, Jacoby Myers. That is the only wide receiver on the Patriots I trust. And most likely Mac Jones. That's the only wide receiver he trusts. I have to get that Mac Jones in there. Hunter Henry out of the Titans is the one that I would prefer. I trust him more than I trust Jonnu, which is why I got Jonnu on my bench. Damian Harris should have a good game running the ball against the Jets. And I'm going to throw a wild card in there, Jamison Crowder, because I feel like he'll be the most consistent wide receiver going forward. Corey Davis has had opportunity, but it's been so up and down, and they signed him to be that number one guy, and it's just not working. And not all his fault, but some of it is his fault. Zach Wilson is always on my bench. Mac Jones is always on my bench, and that's in dynasty leagues. In redraft leagues, they're always on waivers because they're not producing to be on someone's bench. Okay. John O. Smith, he should have stayed in Tennessee, but he left. And to me, it ain't working. Aguilar has been a bust. Patriots gave him all that money. It's not working. He's not worthy of a roster spot in any of my teams in fantasy football because he's been inconsistent, and it has been more bust than even a 50-50 split. Is just majority bust, maybe one game, boom. So don't even consider starting him. Elijah Moore, don't do it. Michael Carter, I don't feel like this is going to be a good game for him. The Patriots run defense is solid. Patriots defense overall has been solid, and it's not going to be a good week for Carter or Johnson. So don't do it. Wild card is Ramondre Stevenson. So he is out of the doghouse. He has learned how to hold on to that football. So Bill is slowly learning to trust him again. However, he's a wild card. It may be that they want to go with Bolden. I think they'll go with Stevenson at times because they love to utilize all of their running backs. He has the potential to take some of those goal line carries away from Harris. So look at that. What you should check for with him is touchdowns, touchdown dependent. He should be able to get a few receptions in the passing game. So he has the potential to be a nice flex play this week. If you are struggling and have several running backs who are injured, bye week, you may be able to get by there with him. And James White is out for the season with a hip injury. Let's talk about the Chiefs at the Titans. That was a really good game, Bills versus the Titans. Still think that the coach should have took the points and just lived to see another day in overtime. But, what do I know? Okay, so we're starting Mahomes, we're starting Hill, and we're starting Kels. You always start those guys all the time. Those are the only guys on the Chiefs that you trust and you start. Derrick Henry, you start him with confidence. Chiefs defense hasn't been good at all this year, and Henry is just Henry. You see what he did last night against a really good Bills defense. AJ Brown, starting with confidence, and Ryan Tannehill should have a nice game this week. Darrell Williams. I still got Damian Williams on the brain. Darrell Williams. Let's see if, he can be a flex play. I think he can be a nice flex play this week. Darrell Williams. I hope I'm saying his name right. Darrell, whatever. Y'all know who it is. Flex play, okay? I'm sitting all tight ends for the Titans. And Nico Hartman has started to play better, but with him, it's still boom or bust, and it's more potential to be a bust. And Julio Jones re-injured last night, so you have to check for him and monitor that situation. Washington at the Packers. I am starting Aaron Jones with confidence, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. These guys should have good game versus Washington. That defense hasn't been good at all this year. So these guys should have a good game versus Washington. J.D. McKissick, kind of monitor the situation with Antonio Gibson. Had his shin, he re-aggravated that. So if he's unable to go, McKissick should be able to have a nice game. I had him on my bench this past week, and he ended up having a good game. But with McKissick, it's been all over the place this year. Thought he would have a more consistent role, but it has been so inconsistent that you leave 20 fantasy points on the bench because you just don't know what the hell they doing out there in Washington. But nonetheless, if Gibson cannot go, McKissick should have a good game. But if Gibson can go, then I would say be cautious with trying to start McKissick because they haven't really utilized him much. And Logan Thomas is out with the hamstring. Curtis Samuel, groin. And Gibson, again, monitor that situation with the shin. And Taylor Heineke, he should have a good game this week. But when you look at the quarterbacks that the Packers have played, none of them have really played that well. However, Justin Fields, he was all right, but that was more of a little bit of passing and running the football, which I don't see Heineke doing that much. So be cautious if you do consider starting Heineke. I recommend putting him on the bench. Falcons at the Dolphins. This should be a really good game for Dolphins, for Tua. There should be no excuse for Tua to not have a good game versus a really bad Falcons defense. They should be able to really get off on the Falcons. You should have some points. Myles Gaskin should have a good game. Tua should have a good game. Gesicki should have a good game. Jalen Waddle, I'm sure everybody is mad because he went off against the Jaguars, but start him this week. He should have a good game. Cordero Patterson is a must start. Calvin Ridley, let's see what he can do. Kyle Pitts, I still feel is more hit or miss because how many games have they really shown you that they are utilizing him? So if I had to choose between Pitts and Ridley, I'm going to go with Ridley. I would love to say that with Pitts, it's going to be consistent, but with the rookie tight end, it's going to be inconsistent. And it's going to be hit or miss for this week. I'm going to have him on my bench. Mike Davis, not a starting running back. He fooled a lot of people. And Patterson is the running back. He is the RB1 for them. Davis should be on the bench, okay? Will Fuller, hand injury, he's out. Devontae Parker, we'll have to see if he's going to go. These guys up here are the only players that I trust in this game at all, and that's it. Oh, Matt Ryan, he's starting to play better. So, yeah, go on and check out Matt Ryan, okay? And I'm telling you guys, Tua should have a good game. If not, you need to be on waivers because it's just crazy. Bengals at Ravens. I'm starting Jamar Chase with confidence. Joe Mixon is going to start with confidence. I don't care. Lamar Jackson, start him. Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown. T. Higgins, I like him. Latavius Murray, but just keep in mind he's touchdown dependent. So if he's not going to get a touchdown, then he's not going to do much for you. And the Bengals only giving up 3.9 yards per carry per game to opposing team running backs. So that's right in line with Latavius Murray. However, if you get a touchdown, that'll help. Keep in mind with Joe Burrow, kind of up and down at times. Ravens, not that bad in the secondary. So I think Joe will throw a interception in this game. And I'm sitting all Ravens running backs, but after what Latavius Murray did this past week, I'm going to give him another chance and look at him as a flex play. And keep in mind that I'm hoping that he gets a rushing touchdown to help me because he definitely needs a touchdown. Tyler Boyd, he's third out of those wide receivers, so he's on my bench. CJ Uzamu, everyone went and spent all their fantasy bucks on him, and he had that one good game. He's more of a one good game, then a few bad games, one good game, and then a few more bad games. So he's someone I would have on waivers, even though we have a lot of good, we have some good tight ends out on the bye week this week. Dawson Knox is out, and he hurt his hand. So it's a struggle, and you got Blake Jarwin and Schultz is out. Obviously, Schultz is the preferred tight end, but they're out. So yeah, flex play Rashad Bateman. I say grab Rashad Bateman before he goes off. They got someone who can run routes. He definitely can run routes, and so he's going to start seeing more targets. Just going to take a little bit away from Brown. Brown is more hit boom or bust because he's that deep threat. Bateman, route runner, watch. So if you got a chance to pick him up now before he goes off, do so and just put him on your bench. Key injuries: Gus Edwards with the knee, J.K. Dobbins knee out for the year, and Perrine was on a COVID list, but it's a Joe Mixon world. And Evans, I don't feel like he's gonna have any value this week, so don't even check for him. Lions at the Rams. This is going to be one of those games where the Rams run through and beat the crap out of the Lions, kind of like what they did this past week against my Giants. Henderson, starting him with confidence. Lions run D is really bad. He should have a good game similar to last week versus the Giants. Cooper Kupp should have another Cooper Kupp week 1, week 2 type game. Matthew Stafford should have a good game. And I would like to see the Rams live up to what they said and get Woods more involved. Key injuries: Cam Akers with the Achilles. Tyrell Williams is still dealing with a concussion after a month. That's scary. Got to monitor that. And Quintez Cephas has a broken collarbone, so he's not going to be playing anytime soon with that. I'm sitting Jared Goff. Hell, Jared Goff is pretty much on waivers as bad as he's been playing. And then I look at what they've done for him. They didn't even go get him any wide receivers. So again, Lions wide receivers are on my bench. As you can see, Amon-Ra St. Brown was someone I recommend you picking up, but this is not the week to put him in your lineups. Khalif Raymond, kind of picking up some steam. Not the week to put him in your starting lineup. Swift, I even got Swift on my bench. This is not going to be a good game for the Lions. Every game hasn't been a good game for the Lions, but this game is going to be real bad. But what up, though, right? No, put them on your bench. And TJ Hawkinson, I have him on my bench this week because this is just not going to be a good game. But if you have to play him, you play him. But just know that he's not going to produce what he did this past week. It's going to be more on the lines of what he did the previous 2 weeks, which wasn't really good. However, if you are desperate and that's your guy, you got to start him. And Tyler Higbee, I got him on my bench. Like he's playing all right, but you figure when you got Cooper Kupp and then Woods to compete with, there's gonna be those games. It's gonna be boom bust, and I don't feel like it's gonna be boom. I feel like this game is gonna get out of hand so quickly that Henderson is going to be running the ball a lot, and which is going to be good for Sony Michel, another player you can consider flex if you have one of those running backs who are either injured or out on a bye week. Michelle can be a nice flex play this week because they're going to blow the Lions out and you're going to see them running the ball. Eagles at the Raiders. Jalen Hurts hasn't been great this year. He has been terrible since week 1 versus terrible Atlanta defense, which is why I said Tua should really have a good game. However, Jalen Hurts is still getting you your fantasy points. And again, we don't care if they play bad or look bad. We care about our points, and he's getting the points. So he's someone you start. Devontae Smith, I would love to see them get him more involved in the game. They need to get it together and get him involved. But he's tied to Hurts, and Hurts is just not really that good throwing the ball. So that kind of hurts Devontae Smith. And then they're not running the ball like they should be. Miles Sanders should have a good game. They should utilize him and run the ball. The Raiders are giving up over 4.6 yards per carry. Miles Sanders should be in the mix. And you can tell they don't know what they're doing out there because Kenneth Gainwell had over 20 fantasy points. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. Played really well, both rushing and receiving. And then they just stopped getting him the ball. And it's like, well, what the hell are you guys doing down there? Run the football. Help your quarterback out a little bit. Run the daggone football. And Miles Sanders, like I said, should have a good game. So I'm going to take the chance. And, well, I don't have him, but I'm saying take the chance to start him because there's potential here. 4.6 yards per carry. Start him. Derek Carr, this is going to be a bounce-back game for him. He's been kind of funky the last few weeks. Start him. And Waller, start him too. I have him as before the season started top 2. Not not really producing top 2, but he's still producing. He's still solid, and you start him with confidence. I don't care who he's playing or how bad he's stinking up the joint every week. Start him, okay? Because when it's good, it's really good. So starting with confidence. Another one of the players I really like is Hunter Renfrow. Good flex play. He's been the most consistent wide receiver for the Raiders. He has a great rapport with Carr. They trust each other. He's the type of wide receiver. If you need a first down, he's gonna get it. You need those yardage, he's gonna get it. You need some blocks, he's gonna get it. He's gonna do what he has to do, which is why Carr trusts him, and which is why he's a good flex play this week, because the Eagles defense is bad help. Both of these defenses, you guys should start your Eagles that I'm recommending with confidence, because this should be a nice week. Key injuries, Dallas Goedert. Is he off of the COVID list? Is he coming back? Hopefully he does. Let's keep in mind that they traded Zach Ertz. So Dallas Goedert, early on before the season started, everyone was saying, oh, he has the potential to be top 5, top 7. With Ertz now gone, and once he returns from COVID list, we should see that happen. Let's go. Let's get it. Hit the like button, y'all, so we can keep seeing more videos like this. Let's talk about this Texans at the Cardinals game, y'all. The Cardinals have been doing their thing this season. 6-0, running through teams, playing really good football on both sides of the ball. The Texans, on the other hand, oh Lord, Jesus, Lord, but them all just throw the whole team away. Okay. Only player I have confidence in is Brandon Cooks, and he is tied to Davis Mills, who has looked terrible. He's looked really bad. However, start Brandon Cooks. Obviously, you're going to start Kyler Murray. I like Chase Edmonds this game. James Conner is always going to be touchdown dependent, so hopefully he can get a touchdown for your team. Zach Ertz, I'm hoping that they get him involved. Kyler Murray has his tight end now, so let's see what happens here. And Hopkins, it's going to be a payback game, so they're going to get him involved. I'm sitting Texans running backs and tight ends. As bad as this team is playing, it's crazy how Brevin Jordan is a healthy scratch every week. Get the kid in the game. Your team is losing. See what he can do for your team. Your team is in rebuild. You're not winning games. Let's see what the young kid can do. Mills, he needs to be on waivers or retirement, unemployment line, because he's really bad. He's terrible. AJ Green and Rondell Moore, Christian Kirk, these are wild cards. They all have the potential to be boom or bust. If it's not Hopkins, it's one of these guys, and it's going to be hit or miss, because like this past week, it was Green who really had a good game. So it's either or with Hopkins. So you just got to hope that the one you decide to play is going to be the one to hit and have a good game. But the guys up top should be the guys who produce for the Cardinals. Key injuries: Max Williams done for the year. Tyrod Taylor still out. Let's talk about the Bears at the Buccaneers. That rhyme. So I'm saying start AB this week. That is Tom Brady's favorite target outside of Gronk. Darnell Mooney has a great rapport with Justin Fields. Right now, it's unfortunate Allen Robinson has to be on the bench because of Justin Fields' lack of production. So don't take a chance on Allen Robinson. Leonard Fournette, it's not going to be a good game for him. Bears run D is still really good. Khalil Herbert should be on the bench because Tampa Bay run D is amazing. Okay. That is their bread and butter on defense. Don't do it, y'all. I'm starting Tom Brady because you just start Tom Brady. Mike Evans, I'm hoping he has a better week this week. Key injuries: David Montgomery with the knee, Tyreek Cohen with the knee, and Gronk with ribs. Hopefully he'll come back this week, but we don't know. Again, this should be a good defensive matchup. However, the Bucs offense should prevail. Colts at the 49ers. Starting Jonathan Taylor with confidence. I'm starting Michael Pittman Jr. Elijah Mitchell is the running back to have right now on the 49ers. And Deebo Samuel, starting that man with confidence. Jimmy G, I think this should be a good game for him. Now, keep in mind, the 49ers have a good defense. However, you can still have a good game against a good defense. Okay. I'm sitting Trey, but he's dealing with a knee injury. Okay. Brandon Ayuk, bust, put him on your bench. Trey Sermon, same thing. Carson Wentz and Jimmy. It's going to be hit or miss with them, which is why I had the 49er quarterbacks out, but it's going to be hit or miss with both of these guys. Carson Wentz is playing some good football right now. I don't think this is going to be one of those good games for him. T.Y. is on my bench. Mo Alley-Cox, I don't think this is going to be a good game for him. Kittle, don't know if he's going to come back. If he come back, start him. If not, obviously, it's going to be on your bench. And Raheem is dealing with the knee injury. Saints at the Seahawks. Starting Alvin Kamara with confidence. Alex Collins, I'm going to start him, and he's touchdown dependent, but also keep in mind, Saints are given 3.3 yards per carry, and that is number 1 in the NFL. So beware, but Collins is not the guy that's going to get you a whole bunch of yardage, but touchdown dependent. And right now, with so many running backs on a bye week and injured, you have to start him. You just simply do. DK Metcalf, I'm going to start him. Between him and Tyler Lockett, I prefer Metcalf right now. Tyler Lockett is in a slump, and he plays better with, obviously, Russell Wilson. Alvin Kamara, I'm starting him. Geno Smith is on my bench. Winston is on my bench as well. I'm not starting any of the tight ends. So, yeah, those tight ends, you keep them on your bench because it's not going to be a good week. The Saints tight end has just had a really bad year this year. There were some high expectations for him, but just not living up to it. All right, y'all. Hit the like button so you can see more videos. Fantasy football. Make sure you subscribe and have your notifications on so you can stay connected with the channel and make sure that you are staying ahead of your competition in fantasy football. Y'all have a great day. Peace.